Good day, viewers. Well, another point of correction with video 103. The rain talked about in there is the date should rather be Monday, 27th of February. That was the day we had our first heavy windy rain. The very first one was just a drizzle, and that was Saturday, 25th February. So, viewers, bear with me. And like I say, we thank God for it. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. It will give us good yields in our farm produce, and we also slept well, and it makes the weather fine for us. So let's thank God. Now, let's go to the next paper, and here it is. Uh, there is an error there too. Woman chop of hibans is supposed to be it's supposed to be husbands and not hibans. So the rest of the word you can fix it there yourself is there. Huh? Woman chops of husbands. You can fix it there. Then, grandpa defiles 3-year-old girl. Let's go and see. Grandpa defiles 3-year-old girl. You can see the picture being escorted by a policewoman, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, sorry, being escorted by a policeman. I think the clearer picture is here. There's that clearer picture. The story from Samuel Ninsun. Emmanuel Omari, a 60-year-old farmer of Drebisi near Nkoko in the Kohon South District has been remanded by a magistrate court at Nkoko for allegedly defiling a 3-year-old child. His plea was not taken, and he would appear on a later date. So let's stop there, because rape cases now are not too strange. So let's stop there and go to this interesting story. Madman arrests a goat thief. Is under that. Madman arrests a goat thief. Every day for a thief, man. Oh, it's spelled one day, Ponday. Okay, let me read it well. Let me discard their spelling. Every day for a thief, man, one day for God. This is the balance between people use to advise thieves, petty or big time, that one day is divine to end their stealing spree in life. In Bolga, in the Upper East region, capital, in the Upper East regional capital, a notorious goat thief met his match on the 7th of September 2003, when a popular madman who roamed the street all day long gave him the hottest chase ever. The hottest chase ever, arrested him, tried and dragged to the police station to face the law. Love and Life source, which had also been confirmed by the regional police, stated that the thief, Adombia Adongo, stole a pregnant goat, which had been tied at the bungalow of the regional sports organizer, Mr. Asabia. Adongo, who had intended to sell the goat at the local market as it was a market day, was spotted when he untied the goat. An alarm was raised against him, and he took to his heels, thinking he could escape. Unfortunately, the madman, whose name was given as Apoma Frafra, was also at the scene and joined the pursuit in the chase. He beat all the chasers and outchased Adongo, who had covered nearly 2 kilometers. The source stated. The source states. Okay, the source states. He tied he tied an another end of the rope. He tied the other end of the rope around the waist of the thief and dragged him to the police station as people hailed and followed him along. Although Apoma is known to be mentally sick, for once he had been very use I think he wants to say very useful. For once he's been very useful and of great service to his community and the bigger society at large. What is your contribution and service to your community, dear reader? So let's go to just a minute, please. Let's go to he wants sex all the time. My in-laws hate me. How can I make him happy? I dream about people dying. Okay, this might be interesting. Uh, Dear Auntie Lillian, nearly every night I dream about people dying. It is either someone in my immediate family or someone I know very well. I wake up feeling very frightened and often go into a depression that lasts for the rest of the day. Then Osofo, this is the answer. Osofo, I think it's supposed to be Osofo. Dreams like this are not a lot of fun, are they? Dreams like this are not a lot of fun, are they? However, it might it might reassure you to know they are extremely common. They generally express our own attempt to deal with our innermost feeling about death. This is something this is something each of us will face one day, and it focuses on our fear of the great unknown. Sometimes these dreams may represent hidden feelings of anger or aggression towards the person who dies, which we are unable to express in our everyday lives. In your case, however, your dream cover a variety of different people. So this seems an unlikely explanation. Lost opportunities or, or unfulfilled potential may also be the cause of dead people dreams. Mess after sex. After sex with my sorry, this is another story. After sex with my boyfriends, I usually uh, I was horrified to see the lumpy white mess left on the outside of his condom. It must have come from me. I've never noticed or any small or this discharge before. Is something wrong? Linda, this is the answer. The person writing it is Linda, and this is the answer. Uh, it does not stand. It does not sound as if anything is wrong. The skin inside your okay. Let me use a medical term. The skin is inside your vagina constantly. Please pardon me for using the word just to explain to people. I think it's a medical issue. The skin inside your vagina constantly produces a small amount of clear discharge to lubricate your vagina and keep it subtle. During sex, this may increase dramatically. The discharge contains proteins similar to ones that cause your blood to clot. These explain the whitish clot that seems to that seem that seems to have upset you. So uh, now we go to strange but true. Uh, Kamikaze pilot story. Haruo Hirota is alive today only because he made the biggest blunder of his life and became part of military history. His greatest wish was to die in battle as a kamikaze pilot, but it was not to be. And Hirota is believed to be the only Japanese kamikaze, kamikaze pilot to survive a mission. In April 1947, he climbed into uh, his explosives packed glider, slung under a bomber. Full stop. 19-year-old Hirota's suicidal mission was to was to steer the glider onto an American aircraft carrier. All went to plan until the bomber above him was hit by American fighter planes. Hirota released his deadly glider and guided guided her towards the nearest big American ship. And guided it towards the nearest big American ship. But instead of landing on the ship, Hirota missed his target, and the glider survived a hail of bullets and crashed into the sea. Hirota, who had not achieved his ambition to die in battle, was full of shame for having blundered. I almost made it to the ship, he explained, but suddenly I found myself underwater. I had to be rescued by American sailors. After the war, Hirota married and had two children and settled down as a chief in Washington, D.C. Another story. Lonely Romeo. A 22-year-old Los Angeles man advertised in a magazine as a lonely Romeo looking for a girl with whom to share a holiday, a holiday tour of South America. Full stop. The joyful Juliet, who answered his plea, turned out to be his widowed mother. Oh my God. Uh, so, garbage collector. Next story. Atubi, Chicago. Atubi, Chicago garbage collector. Okay, no, Atubi is one word. I don't know what. Okay. Atubi, Chicago garbage collector Ralph Jackson was warned that he would be fired unless he slimmed. He dutifully crash dieted and lost 200 pounds. But that was not all he lost. He fell ill, found that he could not lift the beans spelled BINS, was given the sack anyway, and his wife fell out of love with him. Next story. Glossy cookbook, glossy cookbook. A glossy American cookbook contained a recipe for silky caramel slices. Put on an opened can of condensed milk in a pot and leave it put on pot and leave it on the stove for 4 hours. The publishers later recalled all the books at uh, at vast expense when they realized they had just invented the first exploding button dash dash. They had forgotten to mention that the pot should first be filled with water. Next story. University Dons. The Oxford University Dons, who turned up for a lecture by the eminent psychologist Dr. Emil Bush, or Basht, I don't know if Bush or Basht, were puzzled but impressed. The man they had come to see after answering an advertisement in the Oxford newspaper had a flowing beard, a strong German accent, and a strange way harangue, of, of haranguing his audience, so that most of all what he said was unintelligible. They learned later that Dr. Bush was one of their undergraduates, and he that his entire speech had been gibberish. or is it gibberish? Yeah, had been gibberish. Next story. Mad man, mad spelled B-M-U-D. When the mad man discovered civilization, he also discovered crime and duplicity. The madman was was the name given by New Yorkshire to Guinea envoy New Guinea envoy Aterio Kanansuo, who visited the city in 1978. Atorio, no, Atairo, Atairo, who was chosen by his countrymen to represent them in New York because of the high standing in the community, because of his high standing in the community as evidenced by his 3 wives and 25 pigs. Day after day, his body smeared with mud, he would outstand with mud he would outstand New Yorkers with his elaborate tribal dances performed at the American Museum of Natural History. One evening, Atario, tired from hard work at the museum, was relaxing on his bank at the city at a city hotel when a kindly looking lady came in. Give him $5 and ask him to get some sandwiches. When he returned, the lady had disappeared, and so had all his possessions and irreplaceable tribal relics. The madman in whose village left the madman in whose village left is unknown, whose left with only one was left with only one memento of his visit to the city on I have New York. On into brackets I have New York. Uh, okay, let me just show you the center pages. Oh, I've forgotten about Alhaji Konkolis. I hope there will time for us to do something. Okay, Alhaji Konkolis. The first story is not very clear, but it concerns a doctor. I'll read part of it. I do not envy you at all. That's the writer to the doctor. Neither do I hate you, nor even love you, but I am being candid. As a medical man, how do you treasure human life? Are you saying because it is universally acclaimed that there are risks and hazardous hazards there are risks and hazards associated with industrial working, so there is no strangeness to the constant deaths and sicknesses which workers in the food factory suffer? So I think the doctor is trying to absolve some people who are supposed uh, to be careless in causing deaths. So let's leave it there. Now let's go to the next story. Are you are you all the same? So, politicians are like hunchbacks. They are plagued with the same but unfortunate ailment. They have flat bottoms. They have flat bottoms and protruding front or backbones. This is their natural description. Whereas real hunchbacks Whereas real hunchbacks suffer from physical disability Politicians suffer from literal disability. They talk sweet. They talk sweet for nothing, but for nothing, just to attract and portray them as caring, especially when vying for positions or votes. But when their breasts are buttered, it is different thing. How many politicians have got? How many politicians have not talked for the maltreatment, woes, and hardships people along the Volta River suffer? What promises have not been made by them? So, what is the guarantee that your current talk is not a good campaign talk? Papa politician, where are you coming from? A brochure with good and new ideas? I hope you don't backpedal like the others. I've heard you have given out good supplies and even built roads in your area. You visited sites of work and opened wide your mouth because you want to do politics. It is well, it is well and good, but I'm not amused because I've heard and seen more than I've heard and seen more than this before, especially especially for my people along the Volta Lake who have suffered many deprivations because of the dam. I think you can still help them, but don't use that as a political bait to hook them. Your actions and deeds are too good, but your utterances and talks are too political. They are the same, same, they are the same, dash, same. We daily meet, no, we daily hear, or Papa politician aspirant. They are the same, dash, same we daily hear, or Papa political aspirant. Let's go to the next story. Uh, Pastor, you went too far. Violence is violence. Oh, Pastor, what am I hearing at all? The sounds are discordant and cacophonic. They sound very unpleasant and distasteful. A man of God is a man of God. He is not violent. Very law abide. He's not violent. He's not violent. Cool. Then very law abiding, sober minded, and above all, must practice what he preaches. But yours had been different. This, to disobey is better than sacrifice. That is what the Bible says. We should do what is right. We should do what is right always and not the same versa, and not the vice versa. Sorry. We should do what is right always and not the vice versa. Continuation. Why should you treat violence with a lawless? Why should you treat violence with lawlessness before coming to explain yourself to your numerous admirers and those who care to listen to your views? Violence is unlawful. Sorry, violence is lawlessness, and lawlessness is not part of the practice of men of God. If someone had tempted with your property, you have the right to use the law, not violence, which is an illegality. Uh, why did you use land guards instead of the police in the execution of what you thought was legitimate? You failed in your divine work as pastor and must be treated like any common criminal. Shame, shame to you, for you went too for you went too low below the level of expectation. Pastors don't dance naked in public. It is harmful and immoral. Next story. The Honorable Deputy Minister, watch your head. As for you, you have the same. Sorry, as for you, you have no shame and remorse for wrongdoing. You were on record for a shameful act with that Jezebel, and you were involved in an unpardonable swap for that deal. And now you are on records as the main man behind the despicable act. Why should one why should one out of the others be released? Are the others not human enough to merit your almighty grace? In suspected criminal cases, due diligence must be employed by the police to investigate the case to, to its roots. I find it most ridiculous that you pulled your long nose there to puncture holes by your order to release on bail your so-called man. Myself and my 77 siblings are looking into the matter and are determined to see justice in that heinous murder case. Should you stand in the course of your pursuit for the truth and justice? Wallahi. Should you stand in the course of your pursuit for truth and justice? Wallahi. And wallahi is a swear in like I swear God in Arabic, adopted by African countries. You or Muslims, you will have it plenty and bountiful indeed. Look at your face. He said, look at your face and see yourself in the mirror. Full stop. That your that your portmanteau type that your portmanteau type of head. I don't know what portmanteau has, but why he likes mentioning portmanteau. That your portmanteau type of head with the Muguyaru tactics are not acceptable at all. You are fast gaining notoriety for excesses. Bature Banza. Bature Banza. Okay, let me explain. That your portmanteau type of head with the Muguyaru. Muguyaru is bad boy or wayward boy. With the Muguyaru tactics, that the tactics of a wayward boy are not acceptable at all. You are fast gaining notoriety for expenses. Bature Banza. Bature Banza means bad white man or wayward white man. I don't know if this fellow is a white or not, or mulattoes, I don't know. Uh, I think we can make another story before going. Angry wives chop off cheating husband's male organ and the lover's ear. Cheating in marriages, either in ordinance or polygamous, has serious consequences to the offending and the cheated. In some instances, the anger is so swift that the consequences end up in the loss of life. Others get away wounds, bruises, and in most cases, not to be forgotten, scars and psychological pains and memories. In faraway Kenya, in East Africa, stated that BBC reports stated that two angry women stormed a guest house and inflicted wounds on their husband and the lover as a lesson for cheating on them. According to the reports, the 30-year-old man had his penis. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, no, there's nothing I can do. Had his male organ chopped off after the women had used the same knives to cut off one ear of their husband's lover in the hotel. In the hotel the two were enjoying in. Hmm? Now, the man before the incident was said to have sold part of the family's harvested maize. Oh my God! Before visiting the hotel with the lover. Can you imagine that your family's mates, you sell it to take a girlfriend to the hotel? Huh? I don't know. So I don't know who is wrong, but I think the women are more wrong. Uh, hotel it According to reports, the man before the incident was said to have sold part of the family's harvested maize before visiting the hotel with a lover. One of the women was alleged to have said that with that a male organ, he will invest the money on our three children's upkeep. So you see, if he doesn't have manhood, the money he has, he won't take it to a hotel with a girlfriend. He will use it to look at his children with these women. Mm. So, and education, house upkeep and education, instead of moving with other women. The wounded husband, the report said, is in the hospital in their town called Kilgoris in southwestern Kenya. When the local police were informed about the case, they failed to arrest the women at the scene because they were stunned. The report added the two women, if arrested, could be charged by causing grievous bodily pain according to local law, and could not scare this could not scare the women who exacted their pound of flesh on the cheating husband. Married people should take hard lesson from the predicament of these Kenyans. Uh, there is a column under it for jokes. There is a tiny column under. There is a tiny column under it. Jokes. Let me see. Our first joke. I was at a drugstore and noticed a young male cashier staring at the pretty girl in front of me. Her total her total came to $14 60 $14.62, and after handing over $100 bill, she waited for change. Here you are, said the cashier, smiling as he returned the proper amounts. As he returned the proper amounts. Have a great day. Now I pleaded Now I placed my items on the counter. The tally was $32.79, and I too gave the cashier $100 bill. I'm sorry, madam. We can't accept anything larger than 50. We can't accept anything larger than 50. He told me, pointing to the sign stating store policy. pointing to the Pointing to a sign stating store policy. But you just accepted that last girl's 100. I reasoned. I had to, he said. I had her phone number on it. He had his phone number on it, that pretty girl. Mm. I had to, he said. I had her phone number on it. That means the girl gave him his phone number, maybe to contact him later. So, okay, next story. My 16-year-old son would be getting his learner's permit soon. And I never missed an opportunity to remind him about seatbelt safety, Riding in the car one day, I started my lecture. When you and your friends are in your car, do not start driving until everyone is strapped in. Understand? Instead of giving me that uh, usual I know, he said, Mom, say that again. So I offered my warning again. Whenever you are in your car, don't stare, don't start driving. He asked me to repeat it again, more times, until I finally asked what was wrong. Nothing, he said. I just love hearing you say your car. Mhm. So it's apparently a new car, and he loves to hear your car. He hasn't possessed a car before. So these are the jokes. So I think, viewers, let's end here. And next time, uh, not surprisingly, or next time, expectantly, we will go to the signs in the Quran. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Ila likai. Bye bye.